Hello, Laverne here, and thank you for joining me. May this video be a blessing to you, and may it honor and glorify God in His kingdom. This video is the third part to a short video series that I'm making as a rebuttal to two videos produced by the atheist AronRa. Now, his videos were a commentary of a debate that took place between the atheist Hitchens and the young earth creationist Dembski. I'm not going to have time to recap anything from my last two videos, so I would just ask that if you're interested to watch those two videos. In this video, I'm simply going to be addressing one point, one topic that AronRa brought up in his second video. That has to do with whether or not Christianity is based on and is really nothing more than the collection of traditions from older and other religions. For this is what AronRa is saying, that Christianity has borrowed from other religions and that Christianity is not an original religion itself. And he shows some parallels and similarities with other religions. So that's what I'm going to be talking about here. And this is not just something that I've seen in AronRa's videos. There are many atheists that make this claim. This is actually a pretty common argument. So this is for anyone who is making this claim. Now, I would like to argue that these facts are not information, is not evidence that Christianity is not true, that is not an original religion in and of itself. Rather, the information and the evidence that you are looking at when you look at these things is actually evidence for Christianity being true. The reason I say this is that Christianity predicts all of these things. It tells us and prophesies about the false religions. Christianity tells us, Scripture tells us that Satan, the deceiver, comes as a light bringer, that he is a counterfeit, that he comes in the disguise of being someone good to be worshipped. And so he sets up false religions. Now, how is it that so many religions have similarities and parallels to Christianity? Well, there's a very good reason for it. And to explain that, I'm going to refer to the writings found in the book of Enoch. In the book of Enoch, one of the things it tells us, or that it talks about, is the Trinity. Though it doesn't call it the Trinity, it does talk about three beings. One being the Ancient of Days, who is the Godhead. The other is the Elect One, who is the Son of God, the Messiah. And the third part is the Secret One, that being the Holy Ghost. So way back when, during the time of Enoch, we are shown that all of this information was available not just to Enoch, but also to the angels themselves. The angels knew all of this themselves, including the fallen angels and Satan himself. Now, something else that Enoch tells us is that there was an angel who approached Michael and asked him about the secret name, the name that had all power, the name that all would have to bow down to. This, of course, is talking about the Messiah, about the elect one, about Jesus. And we are told that the one being described is the one that all things were created by. Now, the New Testament tells us that Jesus, the Messiah, is the one that all things were created through and for. So we see in Enoch that it's talking about someone who has a name that is secret, and this angel is inquiring about the name of this one. So we know that back in the time of Enoch, if Christianity is true, that the angels themselves were aware of this, that there was going to be one that all were going to have to bow down to. Enoch prophesies and talks about the end days, talks about the time of great tribulation, and so on. So all of these things were being prophesied about and were known about long ago. Therefore, it stands to reason that if Satan is a trickster, if Satan is a deceiver, as Christianity depicts him, then he would set up false religions that would run parallel to and that would look like the same thing as Christianity. He would set himself up in a similar fashion, and that's exactly what we see happening. So all of these similar religions do not take away from Christianity, do not prove that Christianity is not true. Rather, it supports Christianity in the teachings found within it. I'll give you another example, and that has to do with Greek mythology. Consider that in Greek mythology we have Zeus, who is the head god. Then we have a player known by the name of Prometheus. Now, Prometheus was a titan, according to Greek mythology. At least his father was a titan. And then Prometheus aligns himself with Zeus during the war between the gods and the titans are defeated. But then Prometheus falls out of favor with Zeus. So just to explain this or recap it, we have Zeus, who is the head god, but he's also known as being a harsh and actually evil god, one who wanted to destroy mankind. Then we have this trickster who is named Prometheus. He is at first aligned with Zeus, but then he rebels against Zeus. He tricks him. He takes the best portion of meat and he gives it to mankind. And in another case, he takes fire that Zeus had prohibited to be given to mankind, and Prometheus gives mankind fire. So according to Greek mythology, the head god, being Zeus, was actually an evil god. And then we have this trickster, this titan named Prometheus, who actually is a benefactor for mankind. He rebels against God, but does so because he is trying to help mankind. Now compare this to Christianity, where God is depicted as a loving God and the only God, rather than a bunch of gods. We are also told that there is a trickster as well, but that this trickster is not out to help mankind, but rather to hurt mankind. This trickster rebels against God. Now in Christianity, rather than talking about titans, it describes giants. And the giants are actually, in the case of Christianity, killing humans. They are an evil breed that actually are cannibals and eat humans. And then God commands a war to take place between them, and we also know about the flood and so on. So God ends up destroying the giants, just as in the case of Greek mythology, where God ends up destroying the titans. Then when we compare the two of the trickster in both cases, in the Greek mythology, the trickster, that being, you know, the equivalent of Satan, is actually trying to help mankind. In the case of Christianity, it's the opposite. In Greek mythology, it is the trickster, it is Prometheus, who prophesies that the head god, Zeus, is going to be overtaken, overpowered, and defeated by one of his children. In Christianity, what we have is prophecy that the Son of God is actually going to defeat Satan, is going to defeat the trickster. In Greek mythology, the trickster is punished by Zeus. The same thing, the same kind of punishment happens to Satan from God. But in Greek mythology, the trickster is saved by Hercules. That's not going to be the case in Christianity. So there are parallels and similarities, but there are also complete opposites. The opposite really is that in Greek mythology, it completely turns upside down the hierarchy of God and the trickster, and who it is that's trying to help mankind and who it is that wants to hurt them. And this is exactly the kind of thing that we would expect to see if Christianity were true. Now, in regards to the parallel that AronRa tries to draw between Prometheus and Christ, he makes the claim that Prometheus was crucified to atone for the sins of man, and this is actually an absolute lie. if you do a Google search, look up the myth of Prometheus, what you will find is that in 800 AD it was written about, and that the story is that Prometheus was, he wasn't crucified, he was instead punished by Zeus for rebelling against him, for deceiving Zeus, and for helping mankind by giving them fire. So Prometheus is chained to a rock. He isn't crucified, he's tortured, and the way he's tortured is that a large eagle is there that eats his liver during the day, and then during the evening Prometheus's liver regenerates, and then the next day the very same thing happens. The eagle eats his liver during the day, at night the liver regenerates, and the eagle repeats this for years and years until Hercules kills the eagle and rescues Prometheus. Now what's odd is that even though AronRa says that the true story is that Prometheus is crucified to atone for the sins of man, the picture that he has on his video is that of the eagle and Prometheus being chained. So he shows a picture that lines up with the original teaching of Prometheus being tortured by an eagle, but he claims that that's not the case, that Prometheus was actually crucified rather than being tortured. So AronRa, you really should, you know, if you're going to start putting things on your videos, pictures such as this, you really should try and get them to line up with your very own story. Now, there are many parallels that have been drawn that are false. There are people who try to purposely try to make the parallels resemble you know, a closer reality than what it really is, and we see that happening today. Many people are simply exaggerating and twisting the original myth, and they are trying to make the original myth look much more like the things that we see in Christianity. But my point is that if Christianity were true, we would see many of the similarities and the parallels that we do see today. So just because there are some similarities between and with other religions, we cannot and must not come to the conclusion that Christianity has borrowed from them. Alright, as always, I do look forward to comments and messages. Actually, before I finish, I would like to mention where a lot of this information does come from. There are a lot of people creating videos and websites and that are supposedly showing this this notion that Christianity is borrowed from other religions, and they are all based on one actual teaching, one writing that is rooted in one book, one man's writings, and that is Godfrey Higgins, who wrote a book back around 1830, back during the 19th century. And the book is entitled Anacalypses, and there's like 10 other words following it. But I'm going to include in the tag part of this video Anacalypses. Simply do a Google search and you will get all the information you need on it. Now, what I want to mention is that Godfrey Higgins was a Celtic Druid who wrote this book for the purpose of trying to show that all religions had a universal beginning, that there was at one time one universal beginning, and that his belief system, that of the Celtic Druid, was the most closely matched religion to the original. And this was the purpose of him writing his book. And he draws a conclusion, and he tries to draw all these parallels between other religions, trying to draw this conclusion that they are all based from one older ancient religion. And that's where a lot of people are getting this information from. So I just wanted to explain that to my brothers and sisters, especially if you are interested in looking this information up. All right, as always, I look forward to comments and messages. Till next time, peace and blessings.